The Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus walked by the Sea of Galilee, went up on the mountain, and sat down there. Great crowds came to him, having with them the lame, the blind, the deformed, the mute, and many others. They placed them at his feet, and he cured them. The crowds were amazed when they saw the mute speaking, the deformed made whole, the lame walking, and the blind able to see, and they glorified the God of Israel. Jesus summoned his disciples and said, "My heart is moved with pity for the crowd, for they have been with me now for 3 days, and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, for fear they may collapse on the way." The disciples said to him, "Where could we ever get enough bread in this deserted place to satisfy such a crowd?" Jesus said to them, "How many loaves do you have?" "7," they replied, "and a few fish." He ordered the crowd to sit down on the ground. He took the 7 loaves and the fish, gave thanks, broke the loaves, and gave them to his disciples, who in turn gave them to the crowds. They all ate and were satisfied. They picked up the fragments left over, 7 baskets full. Gospel Reflections. Today's Gospel reading is commonly referred to as the miracle of loaves and fishes. In this Gospel, great crowds of people walked for miles out of nearby towns with their loved ones that were sick, blind, lame, and more. Hundreds to thousands of people cured of whatever was ailing them by our Lord. Far from saying that these life-changing miracles were enough for him to do, he worried that some of them would not make it back to their homes safely if they didn't eat. This shows you he is not only willing to give you what you are asking for, but also what is needed that you didn't ask for. There is also a foreshadowing of the Last Supper when he breaks the loaves and gives thanks before handing them to the disciples. In other versions and translations, it mentions the number of people that are on the mountain with our Lord and his disciples are 4,000. This is truly a lot of people. However, in those times you may not know that they only counted men, which means the number was much larger. Women would probably have accounted for about the same number as the men. This would bring the total to about 8,000, but children were not counted either. Assuming 2 children with each family, it would double that number again to 16,000 people. So imagine in your mind the number of people in a small stadium. This is about the number of people that were now on the mountain with him. Matthew tells us, they all ate and were satisfied. Imagine the amount of food consumed by a stadium full of hungry people. All of that with only 7 loaves and some fish, only proving that nothing is impossible through God. This is the kind of abundance we get from God all of the time. Please include victims of disaster, disease, and despair in your prayers. Subscribe by clicking on the round logo on this page or in the lower corner during the video. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day.